Travis Wayne Goodsill. So I started this morning pissed off with God as I am instead given the assurance that it's not his fault. It's not my fault. That the scriptures of fulfillment came to mind. The enemy came as a thief in the night. God does not control the enemy. The enemy is controlled by Lucifer. And so they go by their particular timing for events to occur. That is the difference. And so I'm reminded again of the video where I discussed with you guys how the fulfillment of good is by God and sticks to the time frame prophesied. Evil is using the Bible for the sole purpose of self-fulfilling the prophecies of evil. But it's according to their understanding. So, for example, is the Mormon Christ Christian? Have you forgotten your Book of Mormon? The learning of the Jews and the language of the Egyptians. So is it Jesus Christ who comes to America, or is it a prophecy of the latter days of April 2024? Just depends on whether you're righteous or you're wicked. Mormons, which are you? Yeah, you want to be wicked. You get upset when people call you wicked, thus fulfilling Scripture. It's amazing how the Scriptures are so true. You falsely accuse people, claiming to have a beam when you yourself have the mote, because of your ignorance and your hate. If I were to put Illuminati in the title of this video, YouTube would automatically instill a little caption at the bottom of my video, forcing you to have to scroll down to see the description information. They would link you to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a trusted source for correct information, specifically when dealing with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is yet another example of this. Wikipedia or YouTube needs to back off. I already caught them censoring videos of the press who have the First Amendment right for free speech of the press to cover the news, not to censor the news. And yet YouTube is purposely censoring the cop who murdered an unarmed black man over a traffic violation. I mean, PBS of all places. Dear God. YouTube exposes themselves as racist. They cannot be considered the moral authority. They need to back off. And they won't. Especially the Mormons who work for YouTube. And so I'm lucky if I'm able to get a couple of views for this video. This is going to be long, in case you didn't know. So here's what Wikipedia tells us about the Illuminati, to save you time. The Illuminati is a name given to several groups, both real and fictitious. Historically, the name refers to the Bavarian Illuminati, an Enlightenment era secret society. See, Enlightenment, Illuminati, illumination, Enlightenment, you see the connection? Founded on 1 May. File that away in your memories, because there's a certain religious leader who murdered the founder and took over his religion and dedicated a certain temple on 1 May 1776 in Bavaria, today part of Germany. They were to oppose superstition, obscurantism, the practice of deliberately presenting information in an imprecise, obtruse manner designed to limit further inquiry and understanding. Religious influence over public life. They're pissed off with the Catholic Church and Christianity from the Reformation. They are proposing idol worship, and they are still to that day, and still to this day, persecuting Jews. And I've gone over with you, Constantine created Jesus, created Christianity, 325 CE, at the Council of Nicaea with the Nicene Creed. Mormons, the first vision. What does Joseph Smith tell us as he needs to correct the history of the origins of the church in 1838? Because there's a certain group that had been converted by the 12 apostles who were pushing for Jesus. And so Joseph Smith came out with the first vision. And lo and behold, there's that creed thing. And what does Joseph Smith refer to it as? All Mormons know this information. There's nothing new here. There's no sacred secret. And yet you go around on your missions deceived, spreading the lie of the secret group that I have already made the connection to. Because they use dates throughout history. They use their sign throughout history to identify themselves so that we can know whether they're fictitious or not. And remember, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has hired assassins and are currently involved in trying to assassinate me because of the information that I exposed about this. They want me dead. They've got Mormons working for YouTube to silence me. They have others trying to assassinate me. They filed a lawsuit against me. And after I submitted my answer and counterclaim, the judge recused herself. We've got a new judge who's dealt with these types of cases before as a former police officer. They want me dead. I mean, this is serious, guys. And yet I still see Mormons who say, yeah, we are the enemy. We're going to destroy you. They have no interest in Joseph Smith. They have no interest in the Book of Mormon. And yet they're going around defrauding all Mormons and people of the world with the push of religious freedom. Oh, we're Christian. We're one of you guys. But you got to join our church. You've got to pay us money. This is the evil I've exposed. They are bloodthirsty, just as Joseph Smith talked about, and we'll cover it again. And so, yes, the big news, Mike Lee exposed for doing exactly what this group had planned and plotted for over 200 years. And had tried, and we're going to cover the main one that deals with this church. So anyway, they want to destroy Christianity because of the idol worship in it, believing in Jesus. And so yes, you can see exactly what they're doing. They push for Jesus, yet they know he doesn't exist. That's the fraud they're perpetuating on all of you. And so, transition, under transition, Johann Adam Weishaupt is his full name. If you understand German genealogy, they have that first initial or first title name that's added in, but otherwise it's Adam Weishaupt. But Johann is the German practice of adding to the name. It says under transition, having with difficulty dissuaded some of his members from joining the Freemasons, Weishaupt decided to join the older order to acquire material to expand his own ritual. He was admitted to lodge prudence of the rite of strict observance early in February 1777. His progress through the 3 degrees of Blue Lodge Masonry. What is 3 degrees? He's a Master Mason now. So the question is, which is it? Scottish Rites or York Rites? Rite of Freemasonry. It's not saying. This is why you can't trust Wikipedia. We'll try to see if we can figure out which one it is. If Grandmaster. Okay, so if it's a Grandmaster, it's Scottish Rites. They're saying there's only 7 though. So this is completely different than Scottish and York Rites then. Because the degree structure is only 7 degrees. See also rectified Scottish Rite, Swedish Rite, list of Masonic rites. Okay. So this is very interesting. It says first degree is apprentice, second degree fellow, third degree master. That seems to be the standard throughout the whole thing. All Masonry has those first 3 in common. It's a version of Scottish Rites. Because the 4th degree is Scots Master. 5th degree Secular Novice. 6th degree Knight. 7th degree Lay Brother. And notice it's 7 degrees, the Babylonian bad luck superstitious number from which we get idol worship from. Yay! The Babylonians have reared their ugly head, despite the book of Daniel telling the Jews, hey, stay away from assimilating into the Babylonian culture that you have already done. Let me get this information downloaded. Okay. You have to check. You can't just assume all Freemasonry is the same. You will be wrong. He progressed through the 3 degrees of the Blue Lodge Masonry, taught him nothing of the higher degrees. Yeah, you have to get the degree in order to be taught the degree. They purposely do this. You have to show your loyalty and worthiness to rank up in progression. Otherwise, you do not get the information. He sought to exploit. But in the following year, a priest called Abbe Marotti, probably butchered the phonetics. And you have to understand, I really don't care about phonetics. I know, everybody these days is all about phonetics. Our language has transformed into phonetic meaning. You have to pronounce words correctly in order to get the correct meaning. And that was not the case with the ancients. You had to spell it correctly. Use the right character to get the correct meaning. The big difference, and I prefer that one. I don't like this phonetic stuff because I can't do the R's and it's in my name. Informed Zwack that these inner secrets rested on knowledge of the older religion and the primitive church. Put a tab on that in your memory. Zwack persuaded Weishaupt that their own order should enter into friendly relations with Freemasonry and obtain the dispensation to set up their own lodge. At this stage, December 1778, the edition of the first 3 degrees of Freemasonry was seen as a secondary project. With little difficulty, a warrant was obtained from the Grand Lodge of Prussia. See, they don't even cover the symbol of their order, the inverted pentagram. They just ignore putting it in here for us. But you're supposed to catch on, because what's so famous in the Bible? From the Latin Vulgate, in case you didn't know, what's it doing in the Book of Mormon? Yes, Mormons and ex-Mormons. Dear God, guys. You guys are fighting the wrong fight. But it's the inverted pentagram, if I didn't mention it. And so Kigd was recruited late in 1780 at a convention of the Rite of Strict Observance by Costanzo Marchese di Costanzo, Francisco di Francesca, an infantry captain in the Bavarian army and a fellow Freemason. Now, we don't need to go into these kinds of details. So you see the main theme here. They're pissed with Christianity from Constantine for creating an idol god, turning the Bible into literal history, and naming the Christ Jesus rather than other available names that I've gone over with you. Moses of the Jews, Joseph of Genesis, or even Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Noah, Hercules, Perseus, all these names, Samson, and many more. Constantine chose Jesus, which there's an Old Testament book, the Book of Jesus. It follows the 5 books of Moses. Book of Joshua. That's the Hebrew of Jesus in Greek. He chose that name, which means Yah of salvation. The Hebrew God of salvation is the Christian God. Do you understand why Jehovah's Witnesses call themselves Jehovah's Witnesses? But they are wrong in the sense that Jehovah God is, and it has to be pronounced Jehovah. No, guys. Okay. Let's see. On 20th of January, 1782, this I can't pronounce it. It's got the knight, and so it's too close to a slang terminology. I will not say it. Tabulated his new system of grades for the order. Just 3. So notice, they're changing the system. And who is this guy? Isn't he supposed to be involved with Johann Adam Weishaupt? Because he dies in 1830, by the way. Did you know that? Let's get his death. It just says 1830. It's not giving us his dates. Okay, yeah, this is alright. So, Johann Adam Weishaupt was separated from this. Yeah, they're not even mentioning him in the founding of the Bavarian Illuminati. What the hell, guys? And so, yeah, they're not given his exact date in 1830, but it was after the church was organized, which is very curious. And notice there were 6 members rather than 5 members for Joseph's church. I did that video for you too. Okay, so yeah, Zwak has been removed as a link. It's red. Okay. So, Weishaupt decided to join the older order, the rite of strict observance. Next step involved independence from their Grand Lodge by establishing Masonic relations with the Union Lodge in Frankfurt, affiliated to the premier Grand Lodge of England Lodge. Theodore. He had different people do different things for his... Okay. Lodge Theodore became independently recognized and able to declare its independence. As a new mother lodge, it could now spawn lodges of its own. Pay attention. It was important to cover here. Good thing I went back to figure out this. Okay, the recruiting drive amongst the Frankfurt Masons also obtained the allegiance of, Adolf Frere. I can't do the R's, I tell you. Why did my mom choose that name? My dad forced my mom to choose among 3. What were the other 2? I think Oscar was one of them. I can't remember. But yeah, something, and then Oscar, and then Travis, and so she chose Travis. That was my dad wanting her to pick Travis anyway. It was my dad who wanted the name. And so he gave her 2 other options she knew she didn't like, so that she would be forced to pick Travis. I have no idea what she wanted to call me. Okay, now this is making sense. See, they were recruiting people to do mercenary missions for the end goal. So that is important. to knowing how they function. Okay. Alright, so the three classes. Class 1, the nursery. Oh my God, if you're unfamiliar with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, when your baby is old enough, but they're not old enough for primary, they go into the nursery. They're doing it at church. They put us as babies as class 1 in our Illuminati order. I thought we were just playing with toys. They were indoctrinating us. And they are, technically. They also have lessons and all that stuff. Although oftentimes when you go in, you just see total chaos. The kids are just throwing toys everywhere. It consists of novitiate, novice. You can see those on computer games. You have the novice level. You have to work your way up in rank. The Minerva, and that's great music from that group. And Illuminatus Minor. Nursery. Yeah, Boss Baby. Dear God. Class 2, the Masonic grades. The 3 Blue Lodge grades. Oh, look at that. The 3 degrees of glory, with the 2nd degree having 3 degrees within the degree or class. Yeah. You can see what Joseph Smith also was aware of. We're getting to that. He's not the enemy. Of apprentice, companion, and master were separated from higher Scottish grades. But yes, that's why Brigham Young designed the temple in this manner. With we now enter the terrestrial kingdom. We now enter the terrestrial world, I think it is actually. We now enter the telestial world. We now enter into the celestial world. But that's the Holy of Holies. So yeah, purposely designed this way. You can see Freemasonry from the Illuminati in Brigham Young's church with the nursery. Boss babies. It's a good thing adults make these cartoons for kids, because otherwise adults would And so if there are anybody out there who thinks that cartoons are just for kids, no, you've never watched a cartoon then. You've never seen the subliminal jokes being used by the cartoon characters. And you've only heard about the scandals of Disney. King Triton's kingdom has phallic symbols. There's a clip in the frames in Aladdin that says, "All good boys take off their clothes." And other scandals that have emerged. So Class 2, Masonic grades, the 3 Blue Lodge grades of Apprentice, Companion, Master were separated from the higher Scottish grades of Scottish Novice and Scottish Knight. Okay. This is fascinating. I do have this. I'm sure I do, but it's not showing it, so it's been a long time. So their wording of mysteries is different. That's class 3. Mysteries comes from the Greek word mysterion, a person who goes through the temple with the washing and anointing that is involved to become a god, to pass through the veil, enter into the presence of God. That goes all the way back to the Egyptians. The judgment scene. We've got a variation of that, in facsimile number 3. But that's a wedding. I don't understand why nobody else caught this. Not even our Mormon apologists had the perfect opportunity to say, oh yeah, this is a wedding scene. A prince is getting married and before his father and mother. He's holding her hand. How hard is this? They all claim PhDs in Egyptology, and they miss this? And so then you see, okay, well, Joseph is saying that Abraham is sitting on the throne, and yes, he does make the mistake of calling the woman the prince, and the prince the woman, but still, he got it right with the Pharaoh being Isis, the woman, which, let me fact check, she may be Hathor rather than Isis, because that would mean that she's in the mother role rather than in the wife role. Yeah, Hathor. Yeah, I don't know. If it was Isis, but yes, you see that her name is Isis, because in the scribblings above her hand, which they didn't accurately portray, but it's clear enough that yes, Isis is viewed in that. That's her name, but she's in the role of Hathor because of the cow horns and the sun disk rather than the throne on the top of her head. The throne is part of her name, and that's in the scribblings. And she's holding the Ankh. It's not a star. It's for eternal life. It's shoe sandal straps that John says he didn't have authority to perform. He only could do baptisms. And I tried to put it in the footnotes for you guys, but the church wouldn't let me. I tried to put Peter as seer so that Joseph Smith is connected to it, not just in the one gospel, but all of them. No, we have somebody in charge who knows nothing of ancient languages to be in charge of ancient languages in the footnotes, Travis. Yeah, we see how well you trust the actual Hebraeus and Greek speaker or Greek translators, because in the footnotes, if you see a word that is sort of claimed to be a Hebrew translation, but you see IE or OR, that's because the church disapproved of Avraham Gileadi's input. They think they know better, and they're covering things up, and there's a reason why. And so, yeah, then you have class 3, the mysteries. The lesser mysteries were the grades of priest and prince. Prince, king, prince. Prince becomes king. Aaronic priesthood, see that? Followed by the greater mysteries in the grades of mage and king. Melchizedek, king. Melech, mage. Seer. See what they're doing here? They're using the ancient religion and twisting it to their own ranking. It is unlikely that the rituals for the greater mysteries were even written. They're all over the Egyptian documents. We've got them sitting in 2 papyrus scrolls that refuse to be translated. Alright, so this is important because I think we're pretty much done here. So what you can see is that they were originally pulling people out from within, recruiting from within Freemasonry to add to their order hidden within Freemasonry. It's called infiltration. You send them in, they find out the manner in which people think and believe, and if they believe correctly, they say, hey, they test them in advancing in rank. If you can pass the base level, then they allow you to advance up in rank. So, the whistleblower for the church, for Ensign Peak Advisors, David Nielsen, is that his name or is that his brother's name? He tells us that because of his connection, due to his mission, was it? With the person in charge of Ensign Peak Advisors, that guy working for Ensign Peak Advisors let him in and advanced him higher than normally should be done for any other business. You start out at the bottom, you work your way up in rank in the business. This is where they get this from. But because of his connection as being Mormon and the mission and connection, I believe, the boss bumped him up quicker than he was actually ready for. And so when ex-brother Nielsen was learning about all these documents of criminal behavior, he was advanced too high. And so he had a duty to report this to the IRS. Ta-da! It's not that he's a wicked apostate who tried to destroy the church. No, it's because of this ranking system. You have to show that you're good enough to advance in rank. And so for me, even though I demonstrate the highest rank of Mormonism, not a single bishop and stake president would ever consider me for leadership. And so even in this ward, I had up to 7 different callings at one time in just this ward. But they were all grunt work, low level, nursery level, some apprentice, grunt work. Physical facilities representative. Yeah, I clean the chapel. I clean the church. That's what they do. And you'll see people who are in charge of lessons. You'll know that they don't like you when they do the thing of, rather than asking for volunteers for the prayer, they pick people to give the prayer. Yeah, if you get picked for the prayer, it's because they don't like you. So there's a little secret that I just outed the people with. So if your Relief Society presidency picks you to give the prayer, she doesn't like you. Now I've just caused controversy for Sunday. Sister Jones, will you give the closing prayer? Oh, hell no! I knew you didn't like me. Well, if you don't like it, you can leave the church. You'd like that, wouldn't you? I'm gonna stay just to spite you. Now, okay, we're done with the Illuminati. Let's go on to Heber C. Kimball. See, the apologists were responding to the CES letter, and as I've told you, apologists need to stop it. They're digging the church's grave, causing more problems, and they think they're taking rabbit hole journeys with the people they're arguing with. They're not debating, they're not using sound argument, they're just purposely contending for the purpose of contending to distract away from the main issues, and thus most likely they know the church is not true. And so you'll watch as Kwaku, who's infamous in the church, yes, infamous, who started out at BYU doing his own thing with his little band of merry men and one woman. I think there may have been 2 women at one point in time, but she was just there to have diversity. The few that I did see, she was never. I do remember. Yeah, you have to make sure you screen people. You don't just put them in because they're friendly and agree with you. I remember that. That was a long time ago. She had said something. It's just, dear God, guys, stop. Stop. You're hurting the church. You're just in nursery school. Stop. So, I've gone over it with you. Even the founder of Mormon Apologetics, John Welsh, the church keeps pushing his material. There's chiasmus in the Book of Mormon. That means it's true. He comes from the late war. Oh my God, there's a whole page on the internet showing the comparisons between the late war text and the Book of Mormon and how they match. And it's just, oh dear God, and it's long. And that was a nursery school class text. That was the school or the grade text for kids. Oh my God. And so, yeah, others came forward to expose the church, thinking they were proving the church was true and the Book of Mormon is true and all this. You get your geography people and even Joe Sampson, which none of you knew. I'm the one who brought this out. That's me. I exposed him, as he thinks that because of the Hebrew Jewish mysticism written by the finger of God, that the Book of Mormon is an ancient record. No. You just confirmed Joseph Smith Sr. is the author of the 116 pages rewritten. Good job, thank you. And thank you for Sade, the throne symbol. I struggled with that one. I couldn't find it because I knew it wasn't grasshopper. Dear God. William Foxwell Albright, you suck. And now you're dead, so I can't tell you to your face. The whole argument was just wrong. The acronym theory, dear God, Gardner. No wonder you left out signs in your sign list. And Budge. I don't know why they publish this. Yesterday was a Stargate marathon. I watched Origins, then the movie, and then the pilot movie of Children of the Gods, and then at least, three. Maybe, no, three. I didn't get to four. 3 episodes of season 1 of SG1. So, I don't. I'm the guy who deciphered the remaining stuff that didn't get put in the sign list. Get yourself a sign list. You can find it on Wikipedia, they've got it. And then go to facsimile number 1 and look for the various signs that you see there. You'll see that there is a sign for a mummified person on a little table thing, but not the manner in which it's written in facsimile number 1, which means it's a different sign. It's not the same sign. There is a different translation of it. And all Egyptologists don't know how to translate, and even that it's supposed to be translated. So me, I'm the only one who's translated it. Just walked right into it because all Egyptologists with their PhDs claim they know better and they've got it all figured out. Yeah, no, they don't. They lie to keep their jobs, to establish their title as a PhD in Egyptology. But yeah, it's hilarious when they laugh at Mickelson, or whatever the guy's name for the church, who claimed that he got a PhD from UCLA in Egyptology, and the people who actually are there at UCLA in Egyptology say, I've never heard of this guy. 2 years and he's an expert on Egyptian? Yeah, I don't think so. Because that's all he did. His PhD, he just starts beginning Egyptian and thinks he knows it all. And the church hired him. Yay! So I'm far more important than any of you care to believe. Nonetheless, that's a mystery. You're still in nursery. But I like playing with the babies and the little infant toddlers. That's the fun class. You see, when... Should I go down that route? If you've been in the military service and you've been in secret missions that nobody's supposed to know, and if you reveal what you've done, you have to kill people to keep the secret. And so you'll watch Steven Seagal movies, for example, where he is always the cook. He's the chef. Because he can't be in any other position because of what he's done as a career that he can't tell anybody. And so they have to put those persons in positions like cook. So for the church, those persons get put in the nursery. The nursery leaders. It's hilarious. They'll call them nursery leaders too. Dear God. I'm the leader of the nursery. Shape up, babies. I'm putting that as my thumbnail picture. Boss baby. Dear God. And so the apologists, talking about the church involvement with Masonry, as people say that Brigham Young directly attached it, and Brigham Young accuses Joseph Smith of doing it, and so everybody assumes Joseph Smith did it. Guys, you're screwing it up. This is what Brigham Young did, and it's what all bullies do. It's all secret combinations of this Illuminati do. They blame someone else for the origin. And so what happens is twofold. You get one group that believes, oh, okay, Joseph Smith used Masonry to design the temple text. And the other group is, oh, yeah, I knew the whole thing was a fraud. But Brigham Young remains legitimate because he's wrongly attributing Masonry connection to the endowment text and ceremony to Joseph Smith. That was his go-to excuse. Oh, Joseph Smith did it. That's what Joseph Smith was wanting. Joseph Smith hired me to do it. He told me to do it. No, he told you to get out there and convert, form churches. That was it. That was all. You exalted yourself, Brigham. But we're getting to that. Maybe we should do this as a series. This being the introduction. The Boss Baby series. And the sad thing is that we most likely have until tonight. But it gives me something to do today, because obviously nothing's going to happen today. And so, Heber C. Kimball, they love to quote him, and that's a mistake, because of other problems. We have the true Masonry. As I see here, a debunking CES letter. No, you just exposed more problems that even Jeremy Reynolds didn't even know. That a certain person who's in the mystery levels of Mage and King, who not even the presidency of the church knows. Exposed it. And so pay attention to this. FairLatterdaySaints.org. Question: where did 19th century Latter-day Saints believe? Blah blah blah. Thus, Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball understood Masonry to be a corrupted form of a pristine ancient temple rite. What did I just read to you from the Illuminati? That it comes from the ancient order, the mysteries, and that the Illuminati believed that Masonry was corrupted and formulated their own order with their own rankings and the 3 degrees of glory of the different classes. You see what Brigham and Heber were doing? They were using Joseph Smith to turn theirs. But Joseph likewise understood this and corrected it, because he's talking about the Illuminati being corrupted. But Joseph didn't write the endowment ceremony. He didn't provide magic underwear. Even Jeremy Reynolds in his CES letter knows, because Joseph Smith didn't have his magic underwear on when he was assassinated. So that's interesting. Why not? It will be a shield and a protection to you against the power of the adversary of the destroyer until you finish your work on the earth. Oops. It's because Brigham Young created them. And blamed Joseph Smith and polygamy. Again, with the lie that Brigham Young told, you're either in the two camps. You either believe Brigham Young and support Joseph Smith for practicing illegal polygamy. And so you defend Joseph Smith. Yeah, it's the God's law. We're going to practice it in the millennium once Nelson pays off Putin to nuke the world. And that's where we're going to with all this, guys. That's where we're going to. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not in the mood to do other video segments. I'm just bummed. My life is in danger. And so, yes, the Nauvoo Temple was dedicated on the 1st of May. I've told you. Thomas B. Marsh had learned from the Danites that was their plan, to overthrow America, to overthrow world governments. I've gone over with you the Mormon War in 1838 that got Joseph Smith falsely accused and locked up in Liberty Jail while Brigham Young ran the church. The whole plot was to distance so that Joseph Smith doesn't know and he gets wrongfully accused. And so Joseph, in sections 121 and 122, he knows he was falsely accused by false brethren. The Book of Mormon, he knows. He knew it was Brigham Young, 19 July 1840. Oh, which section of the Doctrine and Covenants is that, Travis? It's not in our Doctrine and Covenants. That's the whole point. Because Brigham Young added to the Doctrine and Covenants after Joseph's death in 1844. He did not put that in there. Why? Well, have you read it? It talks about the coup of the government of America. Mike Lee just got exposed for his participation in that event. He's a descendant, direct genealogical descendant of John D. Lee with 9/11. 9/11 was Canandaigua, New York, of William Morgan. Joseph Smith Sr. took the responsibility to make sure his book got published. And so, yes, Gerald and Sandra Tanner are correct. It does contain a composite of Morgan and Monroe. Mormon. But they never bothered to find out how and why. They didn't care. They were in "I knew the church was false" category. The Smiths sacrificed their lives for us. They warned us in the Book of Mormon. They created apocalyptic literature to disguise the warning clues. So yes, they used the 1769 King James Version of the Bible. Yes, they used the late war. Yes, they used the Quran. Yes, they used Jewish mysticism. Yes, they used all the other dozens of books. And yes, Solomon Spaulding's unpublished manuscript that Sidney Rigdon had possession of. They had been in contact with Sidney Rigdon in Harmony, north of Pittsburgh. They were warning us, trying to save our lives, because they knew of the future threat of the Illuminati, that John C. Bennett was a part of this underground polygamy movement. Joseph Smith excommunicated him. Joseph Smith wasn't a part of it and ordering it. He was excommunicating those who were found to have been involved with it. And John C. Bennett set in motion Joseph Smith's death, as he went and joined James Strang, got him to practice polygamy, and formed his own Illuminati order, Halcyon order. He got that from the Danites, who were within. Brigham and Heber are said by the church to have converted the people from their hometown first. Those were Scottish Rites Freemasons who were pissed and were wanting revenge for whoever caused the anti-Mason movement that involved William Morgan, having him escape from the country because he was going to write a book, 2 books technically, to expose the Illuminati in America. And he was doing it in Canandaigua, New York. Not Batavia, which is close to Bavaria, interestingly enough. Not quite. He had his home in Batavia. That was the print press of David Miller that advanced him the money, that got him out of jail the first time. And then, 9/11. Again, dates are the same. I've done videos linking all the different groups. When they get exposed, there are those who leave and go form other groups, infiltrating of other groups. And so from the Illuminati here in America, from the 1812 war, they got into the Scottish Rites. From the Scottish Rites into the Church of Christ of Joseph Smith, purposely trying to destroy it from within. They were pushing for Jesus Christ. But in 1834, the leaders of the church named it the Church of Latter-day Saints. And so section 115, notice the word shall be called. That's future tense. That was not the name of the church when Joseph was saying it. You don't put shall if it's the name now. You put is. Thus is the name of the church called. He said shall be called in the latter days. He was prophesying. And guess what? He's a true prophet. Remember Nelson? In 2020, April? He did this whole thing. Jesus is angry if you use nicknames. For thus shall my church be called in the latter days. Nelson came out and confessed to fulfilling it. It was Brigham Young and his Danites. They were pushing the church to be Christian. Why? To destroy it. To destroy all Christianity. And then emerge with the doctrines of Lucifer. Now, where in the world does that come from? And then Masonry for Heber C. Kimball on the internet, Wikipedia, exposes that Heber C. Kimball was involved with it. Heber C. Kimball joined the church because of revenge for the anti-Mason movement that Smith Sr. was involved in by having William Morgan flee the country and taking on the role of finishing the book, which became named the Book of Mormon instead. And so when he found Brigham Young, they were trying to see if the church could heal Brigham Young's wife. He never joined. They were just attending church. And then she died. And then Brigham Young magically joins instantly? Something suspicious. But the author of the book, the new book of Brigham Young, who got a rewrite of all the Wikipedia page articles on Brigham Young, and just 2019, they did a clean sweep of all things Brigham Young, but they put that in there, exposing the reason why Brigham Young joined the church, for revenge for the death of his wife, because the priesthood didn't heal her. And so now do you understand why Zena, or Zina, whatever the name should be pronounced, I don't care. You know why Brigham Young promoted her to be the high priestess? To watch her blessings that she was giving to other women? Again, if you are new to this church, if you are of the younger generation of this church, you do not understand how washings were performed originally by Brigham Young and Joseph Smith, but the men were separated from the women. Joseph Smith gave priesthood and priesthood office to women. They could do whatever they wanted with their Relief Society, that they themselves voted for the name. 17 March 1842. Are you even bothering to look these things up? And so yes, Brigham Young was all excited about Zena and her magical powers of healing, giving blessings, because he gets to see women naked. I mean, yes, all guys want to see women naked, but to use religious cover for it? No, that's wrong. You know, in my art class, there was the kid who told us that he wanted to be a gynecologist when he grew up because he can see women naked. He wanted to become a medical doctor for women for the sole purpose of seeing them naked. That's not how you become a medical doctor. That's not why you become a medical doctor. This is why polygamy is wrong for a religion to do. Because you're telling people they're not worthy unless they practice polygamy. That they won't be exalted in the highest degree of the third class of the celestial kingdom, having advanced from nursery up, unless they practice polygamy. And then Brigham Young, if you didn't understand, he chose your wife after he got his share, after Heber got his share, after the other apostles got their share. It's a big difference between consenting adults and a leader of a religion using fear tactics and force. But Nelson's bringing it back. Covenant path. So Albert Pike, I've gone over this with you. He ties it all together. Ties the church with the Illuminati. as I've already exposed the Illuminati with the church. He talks about the 3 world wars into his letter to Giuseppe Mazzini. Albert Pike wrote the book on the Scottish Rites Freemasonry. Morals and Dogma. Speaking of the 3rd World War, the final war, must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agenter of the Illuminati. He's Scottish Rites. He just connected himself to the Illuminati. Between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. You're familiar with what happened in the end of this week? Yeah, Palestine decided to attack a Jewish synagogue. And the Jews responded with an attack on a mosque. They're at war right now. And yes, again, but this was all planned for right now. This is why Israeli leaders wanted to intervene and mediate between Putin and Ukraine. Because they know that Christians know that has to do with the battle of Gog and Magog for the end of the world and the coming of Jesus. And the Jews know that the Christians know that it's going to turn on Jerusalem, where the majority of the Jews are going to be destroyed until a great earthquake, and they go through the Mount of Olives, and Jesus is on the other side saying, "Hey, I'm the one you murdered. Join Christianity or die like everybody else that I've just nuked." The Jews know this. They're freaked out and panicked. But that's not the manner in which the Illuminati plan to destroy them. They get Palestine to fight them to the death. And it's now begun. See, this weekend is the Constantine Trinity weekend. Islam, the Jews, and Christians, all influenced and assimilated by Constantine. And the Jews, with the Masoretes, in 800 to 1000 CE, altered the Bible. And as Joseph Smith said, Elohim needs to be translated plural, not singular, because that's a Constantine creation. Singular but plural. Interesting. And then Islam. Allah, singular, but translated into English as plural. We. Constantine. The Quran even says that Jesus is a real human being, literal history, and therefore a teacher, or a prophet, I think they refer to him as. No. All 3 religions who dominate from Constantine are going to be destroyed. Mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. Yeah, Putin. Guess what? He wants it finished by May Day. Everybody in the news is saying, oh, the 9th. oh no, Trump is running in 2024. I told you from the beginning we're never going to make it there. But that's the whole point. Get you to fear about the future and then do it now. Catch you off guard. This is a war tactic. You all fell for it. We shall unleash the nihilists. Yeah, nukes. And the atheists. And shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm. Have you been paying attention? I've told you, psychology is behind this. They're doing Stanley Smith Stevens' behavioral categorization system. He's Mormon, in case you hadn't caught those videos of mine. Dichotomous is where you have a false dichotomy of two categories to choose from. You know, Democrat or Republican, or is it MAGA? Because again, the symbol has changed throughout time as they infiltrate different groups. Brigham Young showed it on the Nauvoo Temple, showed it on the Salt Lake Temple, and the Logan Temple, and then Eagle Gate. That's the Illuminati. That's to let everyone know who's in the mysteries that the Illuminati had infiltrated this group and had conquered it, took it over, murdered the founder. And so, what other group? Well, the Confederates caused the Civil War. They had a flag. And if you pay attention, the bands are in a cross such that the stars are inverted. Yeah, the Illuminati, after the anti-Mason movement, went to the South and formed what became known as the Confederates. Then after the Civil War, the leader of the Civil War, or the Confederates, formed the KKK. Isn't that great? Mark of the beast on the forehead. Yay. And so then Hitler. See, he turned the swastika inverted. See, because the swastika, everybody knows it comes from the Eastern Orient, India area. If you've seen Da Vinci Code with Dan Brown's Tom Hanks video, yeah, they tell you. It tells you right in the beginning. But Hitler inverted it. I did this video for you. He was now the Illuminati. But all these other groups still exist. They just spread. The ones that get exposed and conquered, they go silent. To rise again another day. To resurrect. Notice how Nelson will never say that Jesus ascended. He just says Jesus has been resurrected. Yeah, exactly. And so the GOP, Nixon, his campaign buttons were the first instance of inverting the stars on the elephant. See, McCarthy was the one who changed the platform of the Republican Party. We need to return to Nazi Germany ideals. We need to fight these communists who are the Democrats, who are among us, who are in Hollywood, who are needing to be blacklisted. And yet, people to this day do not understand that that's what he was doing. And so under Nixon, it became very apparent. The GOP had been taken over by the Illuminati. And so you get certain presidents who get up and talk about 1,000 points of light, a new world order. That's the theme song in the description below. Ministry, New World Order. And so John D. Lee, 9/11, Mountain Meadows Massacre, not a coincidence. Because it connected to the Illuminati on 9/11, 1826 in Canandaigua, New York. So yes, everybody thought it was revenge for Poppy Bush in Chile, forming the coup down there on 9/11. Yeah, partly. And so there's this certain Star Trek Q that doesn't associate with Star Trek, who says that this secret group is no longer Illuminati, they're the Deep State Dems. And they're satanic space alien pedophiles. And I've been telling you this whole time, wrong group. It's the church. Boy Scouts. If you could hide a Kolob. The inverted pentagram of the Illuminati. Purposely deceiving and misleading to distract you away from the real evil enemy. Then everywhere, origin of savagery and a most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere, the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization. This is an extermination of mankind. Depopulation agenda from the UN Council. Nuclear holocaust. But they didn't have the knowledge of a nuclear weapon back then. And the multitude disillusioned with Christianity. Why would they be disillusioned with Christianity? There are certain prophecies that are supposed to take place, certain events that are supposed to take place, and evil will fulfill them. But wait, the hero didn't come to save the day, because he was created by Constantine. He doesn't exist. Whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction. What do? Why do bad things happen to good people? It's because you believe in the wrong God. Anxious for an ideal. Yeah, they need something to explain it. They've gone into a faith crisis, but without knowing where to render its adoration. Christianity destroyed. Will receive the true light of the light bearer. Uchtdorf told the priesthood that we're bearers of light. Through the universal manifestation of the Spirit, right? It's a contradiction in terms, guys. Manifestation is a physical manifestation, physical appearing of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And what is Lucifer's doctrines? Well, Joseph Smith tells us all about it and exposes it. Strange, no Mormon seems to know it. My own parents didn't even know it, didn't even use it to raise me and the rest of us siblings. And so, in selections from the book of Moses, chapter 4, how Satan became the devil. And so after Moses had chased him away, God is now explaining to him who he is. He is the same which was from the beginning. And he came before me, saying, Behold, here am I, send me. I will be thy son, and I will redeem all mankind. That one soul shall not be lost. Takes away agency. Rebelled against me and sought to destroy the agency of man. That's how he was going to redeem everyone. To destroy man's agency. To force us as to what to believe in, how to think, how to feel, what to do with our lives. And again, if you're the nursery ranking, you're a slave. If you're a woman, you're a sex slave. They don't want you to be smart, because you become trouble. You want men to feel. But no, you're not supposed to rule. That's the feminazis. I have been exposed to their hate. They want to conquer men so that they can control and rule with unrighteous dominion. And they force other women to believe as them. That's Lucifer's plan of happiness, to redeem everyone. Do what we tell you to so that you will be saved. You are unworthy otherwise if you don't follow me and obey me. You will not be exalted. You will be denied unless you obey, and we will force you to obey. We will put you in bondage. We will compromise you to trap you. Oh, you've already committed a crime. You're going to have to do what we tell you to do now. Otherwise, we'll expose you and you'll go to jail. You'll be imprisoned because you're a criminal now. We gotcha. We own you. The loyalty oaths in the temple. Do you understand why Nelson keeps pushing Covenant Path? He's trying to remind you he owns you. You're supposed to do what he says. You're supposed to give your life for the church. Not for Zion, the people. The church. You're supposed to be groomed for polygamy. And only the leaders will be worthy. No more high priest group. Joseph Smith had a quorum of high priests. And so as you move up in rank in the church, the more wives you'll get. And the more worthy you become. And so now you understand why the church lies. Satan, yea, even the devil, the father of all lies, to deceive and blind Mormons, to lead Mormons captive at his will, even as many Mormons as would not hearken unto the true spirit of good. Book of Mormon tells us everybody has the ability to learn right from wrong, good from evil, darkness from light. The light of Christ. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. To assassinate someone is wrong, and yet Mormons are doing it. One judge recused herself. When I sued the church, the second time, 3 Mormon judges recused themselves. Until they finally got one who would be compromised. The first one, no, the Mormon judge refused to recuse himself. Do I need to go over this with Helaman chapter 6? We might as well. We're doing this one video. We're not doing a whole series for you. Because the Mormon War, that was an election fraud. Guess what happened with Senator Lee, descendant of John D. Lee, the woman and baby murderer? Yeah, and all the Mormon from Idaho who was involved in primary, nursery. Yeah, he too was there, scaling the walls of the Senate. I forgot what I was going to... Oh yeah, Helaman chapter 6. All of these things are being brought out in full view, everybody. And you're missing it purposely because you've been compromised. Or you think that the whole thing is just a fraud, a myth. Verse 21 of Helaman chapter 6. But behold, Satan did stir up the heart. See, Satan did stir up the hearts of the more part of the Nephites, insomuch that they did unite with those bands of robbers. I don't think I told you. I keep covering things and I forget all the information involved with it, because I'm not sure if I was going to do a series or if... And so, yeah, this weekend, all 3 religions of Constantine, it hasn't been done this way for 33 degree years. That's your clue. 33 degree Masons for Scottish rites. That's the honorary rank. That's the infamous code by which they let you know that they're involved. That's why I know this is it. This is it. Things are going to escalate from here. I told you on the 30th, the day before the 1st. That's for government. This weekend is for religion. And apparently, the enemy does not want to adhere to the origin of religion. And apparently they're going to use Christian, I hope, because I'm a dead man. They have to destroy the church to start all over again. Now I'm stuck. I've got this on the screen, so I'll remember it. Notice, when Nelson took over, he escalated the destruction of the church. The church was already losing membership under Monson, and I did the Sociology of Mormonism video going over the stats and the dips, and I go, oh, yeah, I know exactly where that was and what happened during that year. Oh, it went sky high? Yeah, I know exactly who was the cause of that. My mission president. my mission. Nobody cared. Like I said, I'm in the know. Because I'm verse 24. And so when Nelson takes over, even before, there were things going on purposely for all this. They paid Putin money. Putin, to ensure their loyalty in this deal, gave them $32 billion laundered through LLC companies because of Senator Orrin Hatch claiming the tax bill was for the poor, that he was a born poor, getting in his fight with Senator Brown. Yeah. Fox 13 News Utah exposes it. Max Roth. In May, after Nelson comes up and says, "Major city yet to be determined in Russia." Oh, no temple in Russia? Putin did not use the money for a temple? What did he use the money for? He gave the church $32 billion to launder through the stock market so that they can be guilty of crimes in case they decide to back out of the deal. In 2017, Putin tried to get Utah to give up the uranium in Bears Ears. The uranium mines. Oh, Fox 13 News Utah is again added with an investigative reporting about the Bears Ears uranium mines and how the natives want it gone. No, that's a distraction. Putin wants the uranium, and so he's made a deal. I'll destroy the world, you can have your kingdom of Deseret, just allow us to come in and mine the uranium in Bears Ears. Because 2017? Yeah, remember that Bears Ears thing? Yeah. Zinke. Yeah, what happened to him? He was exposed as a criminal. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Isn't that great? Yeah. So, failing to get the uranium and other things that the church failed. Oh, bye-bye, U.S. Ambassador to Russia Huntsman, who had left the church. He was not an active Mormon, ex-Mormon technically, but he didn't kick against the pricks. As an apostate, like that Travis guy. Yeah. And so he gets rid of the high priest group. He does away with home teaching. Yeah, ministry. That's now an excuse not to do anything. Only those who come to the bishop and the bishop approves of it will send ministers to them. Because they're the weak. They need ministers. And so the home teaching program, yeah, it was supposed to be a phone communication system whenever there was an emergency. You know, like a certain creeping death that would cross the land, where the church would have to be shut down as people stay home to be safe. What do we do about the sacrament? Oh, I know. Let's have the home teachers relay the messages to everybody. Oops. No more home teachers. That's interesting. How did he know in advance? You can't even talk about the lab leak theory. And it was Fox News that brought it up originally. Of all news people. They're just playing us with that dichotomy the non-dichotomous part, which I think I failed to mention, is categories within each of the dichotomies. So for government, you have the Democrats, you have left, center, and right. As Democrats are left, Republicans are right, and you have centrists. They won't claim independence as a third category. They have to maintain the dichotomy. And so they say those who are on the right of the liberals are more centrist. You know, that's your Biden and Hillary Clintons. They're purposely telling you how to think, how to feel, how to believe, how to act, what to do, according to the category that you've been brainwashed into becoming. And those of us who refuse to be brainwashed are the enemy. We're insignificant because they've got the majority of you. They don't need us. They don't worry about us because they've controlled the masses through psychology, brainwashing. You know, Lori Vallow, finally competent to be on trial? Yeah, no, she was always competent. That was just a stunt to try to get her to confess. Turn on Chad. And so with her being found competent, it's not because she's now mentally sound. It's because either of two things occurred. One, she either is going to turn on Chad and testify against him, and we'll soon find out when she appears in court again. Or she's refused to turn on Chad, and so they're saying, okay, well, we'll prosecute her independently in death penalty, because their crimes are guilty of the death penalty. Just like the church. What they have done to me is death penalty crimes. All those down the ranking who have been ordering my assault are guilty of capital crimes. The death penalty. Now, do you understand why the one judge recused herself, and now we've got a guy who's involved in former police work for investigation of murder, assassinations? And so Nelson purposely has been ramping up Christianity and Jesus to destroy you as Mormons, believing you are Christian, believing Joseph Smith was Christian and saw Jesus. They're destroying you and will replace you. With the full doctrine of Lucifer. This is why my video review of the women's session got silenced. Because my month in advance video became a breakout. Let's see where that's at now. Most likely stopped at 1.7K. Seriously? Now, it is Saturday morning, I guess. I should expect to have problems. I'm not on the home page. I noticed that they try to force me to watch my own videos to get my videos' attention to you guys. Senator Mike Lee is at 66 views in 13 hours, 77 for the 3 features of Latter-day Saints. Yay. But you guys aren't paying attention. So here's the Sunday school lesson for Easter. Crucifixion of Almond Christ. That's why I'm having to assume the enemy is using Sunday, tomorrow, rather than today, which is the Jewish Sabbath, which is the Passover of the Exodus. And the signs in the heavens are for today, and then doing it tomorrow? Dear God, guys, you suck. Most popular. Oh, there it is. It's number 9. Still. 1.7K still, yeah. LDS presidency announces restoration of polygamy for April 2022 General Conference. This is why they shut down Travis Wayne Goodsell. I'm not allowed to post videos for another 5 days. They did not want a breakout video like this one, which they knew would happen, because for April 2021, LDS Church to abolish Book of Mormon for April 2021 General Conference. 3.3K in 1 year. That's why. They know I get attention. And lo and behold, my number 1 video on TWG. 7.9K. Breaking LDS news, Russell M. Nelson changes temple text, temple covenants, again. Law of chastity. I'm responsible for that, guys. See, I'm in the 3rd class. The Mage and King class. I'm in the know. My lawsuit, the first one. I submitted to the court that Nelson is going to have polygamy again. Submitted the law of chastity change. I've used that picture. I used it in this video. LDS Church Presidency announces restoration of polygamy. It's in that video. I'm the one who caused Nelson to be pissed, because his defense counsel counseled him. Travis submitted this. He says you changed the law of chastity in the temple to allow for polygamy again. Yes, guys, I figured all this out. That's why they want me dead. And Mormons want me dead, because you're either in the 2 camps. Oh, yeah, the church is true, and it's led by Jesus, or it's all a fraud. You don't listen to me. The Smiths were not frauds. They sacrificed their lives for us. They knew they were going to get infiltrated. They knew they were going to get caught. They knew they were going to be infiltrated as they rose up into power to overthrow Joseph Smith and have him assassinated. The Book of Mormon tells us this would happen. And Joseph Smith knew and was finding out who they were, and came out and exposed him and his 12, and purposely connected him to the Last Supper. This weekend is for the Last Supper of betrayal. And so apparently they're waiting for Sunday. But there's a clue with the video I did about this past conference being an assassination of Mormons. Governor Cox is purposely concealing and covering up our stats. He doesn't want you to know what's going on. Whereas the national news is saying, oh yeah, it's the major thing everywhere. But, oh yeah, Utah, they're covering it up. They're no longer testing. Yay. It must be gone. Nope. They want you dead. They're trying to assassinate you, not just me. This is a purge. This is an extermination. This is a genocide. They want you dead. All the weak, dead. All those who don't believe right, dead. And so, yes, Senator Lee got exposed as part of that plot to overthrow and destroy us. And thus they might murder, plunder, steal, commit whoredoms, and all manner of wickedness, contrary to the United States of America and the Constitution thereof, and also the laws that Joseph Smith established. Even of Jesus. The Jesus of love? Yeah. Screw that Jesus. GOP Jesus. Hilarious video. There's another one that's a little more crude. Hilarious too. And whosoever who belongeth to their band should reveal unto the world of their wickedness and their abominations should be tried, not according to the laws of the country, but according to the laws of their wickedness. I have been ordered assassinated. I've got the receipts. Secret oaths and covenants, master Mahan, to murder and get gain. And here we are, guys. It's now too late. It's too late to find out the Book of Mormon's now true. It's too late. So, stay safe, because here we go.